Today we're talking with Heather Barrett. She's part of the management team at the Magic Valley Mall, and we're going to be discussing lease requirements for a temporary unit at the mall.
I have an idea for a product, and I have a manufacturer, and I'm ready to go, and I'm talking to you. What do I need to know?
I ask you what the product is.
Custom children's books that have the kids' names in them.
Knowing that we don't have a store in the mall that sells that.
Okay, so you do prevent too much competition.
In a way, because they are paying for premium locations to be in the mall for their product.
Nice. So you're looking for unique.
Unique.
Okay.
Yes. If it's somebody else's primary business product here at the mall, we try to stay away from that.
Nice. Okay.
I would say bath salts is probably, there's a few exceptions, because Bath and Body Works have their own exclusive what they do. But then if we have a crafter that comes in with their homemade salts or the Dead Sea salts, or that is still another unique, different product. So I do look at the product first.
Okay.
I ask if there's going to be anything that goes with those books. Is it going to be your books and other accessories that go with that, tie into it, or is it going to be books and Beanie Babies and hair bows? And because we do limit the amount of uses that we comp, that can be on a kiosk, so it's not a flea market kiosk.
That makes sense, yeah.
Then I give them a packet of the mall. It has our site plan in there, so the kiosk locations throughout the center of the mall, and possible inline spaces, store spaces that they might be interested in. I narrow it down. If they're unsure, I give them both, or narrow it down if they strictly want kiosk only. We just talk kiosk only. I talk kiosk. Their kiosk that they want to bring in can be of a bigger size or one of our units. And then I narrow it down a little bit further, and then we just start talking about what makes what their needs.
Okay. With the goal of helping them to be successful, of course. So you're not going to be suggesting things that don't fit with their goals.
Correct.
So that hopefully everyone ends up making money. Good. Okay.
Now, our rents, we try to give the best possible rent layout as possible. That's why the numbers that I sent to you are a baseline.
Okay. So they are negotiable.
To a certain degree.
Okay.
We try to start out with this. And the percentage rent is put in there because if they are exceeding their natural break point in sales every month, and they're paying us that 12% over natural break point, and they're paying us what they're paying us in rent, so they're doubling. That means we need to raise the rent a little bit so that it raises the natural break point, and they can keep more money in their pocket. And then that way, so they don't feel like that they're giving all their money to the mall. So that when they're really successful, we're successful as well.
Okay.
So that's kind of how we use that percentage rent as well, is to adjust the rents as needed. The packet includes, like I said, our lease plan. And it has our market information. We have our market area goes from Sun Valley down to Elko and Glens Ferry to almost the Utah border. There's where you turn off on I-84 to I-15. And that's about 240,000 is our demographic market. Of course, our nearest competition mall is Boise Town Square. And so that's what makes us unique here, is that we don't have a mall on top of each other, like Salt Lake would.
The new mall, is that part of you guys? The one that's across the street?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. The Bed Bath & Beyond and that, so that is part of your management group?
Yes.
If I'm at Bed Bath & Beyond and I see the mall, I'm going to probably head over, and it's added value. Very nice.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, good.
I feel it keeps people in town.
Is there anything unusual that you would consider in your leasing plan that students should be aware of?
I try to be pretty straightforward. The packets also include our rent structure.
Okay.
What we require, it'll have a security deposit in there. So it lists rent, percentage rent, security deposits. In the temporary kiosk rent, the power is included.
Okay.
Any other utility as phone or data, internet, is all the tenant's responsibility.
Okay.
So that I feel is can be a pretty low cost.
Okay. Are they required to be there the hours that the mall is open? Okay. Are there special events that the mall puts on that they would need or want to be part of?
That is when we do have promotions or special events, all of the tenants, including the temporary tenants, are included in the information that is passed out, and they can choose to participate if they want to.
Okay. Do they have additional marketing materials that they need to pay for or pay toward if they are a part of a special event or something?
We don't offer that to them, but we do have some free marketing opportunities for the temporary kiosks,
Okay.
and which include our electronic reader board out on Blue Lakes by Chili's. It's table tents on our food court. We have 75 tables, and those are free. Those are free marketing opportunities for them. We also have an application that I need them to fill out that helps me look through their plan. And it also, I can pull that information off of the application when we enter into a specialty license agreement. Specialty license agreements are not bound by real estate laws. So we can go on a temporary month-to-month basis, if you will, and up to 1 year. It doesn't mean that they can only be in here 1 year at a time. It just means that we renew for another year if they choose to be in here another year.
Okay.
At that time.
Is there anything else that you feel students should know or a new vendor should know?
I think that if you have an idea, don't be afraid to ask the questions. Asking the questions to the general manager, to the specialty leasing agent, director, it's not going to bind you into anything. You're not going to be out any money. It's to just ask questions, and hopefully you get a good answer or an answer that helps you decide. Because we're here to make, when vendors aren't successful, we're not successful. There's a lot of other malls that require visual merchandisers. That the vendor hire a visual merchandiser to merchandise their kiosks. That works in other areas. For us, we don't require that. Between the vendor's creativity for their own product and our professionalism and creativity for the requirements of the mall, we feel we can work together. And so we allow them to set up as they need to. We have an initial conversation at first. You can't have anything outside of your kiosk. It has to stay within the size.
Okay.
And we have sign criteria. We have kiosk criteria if they were to build their own kiosk.
Okay.
So with just an initial conversation of that said, then when it's time for them to move in, we have them set up, and then we usually, if we need to critique anything or just look at it. Any ideas that we might have, suggestions we might have, we just kind of work together at that time.
That's wonderful. That's a nice way to do that. Because they want to do well, and you have the experience to be able to say, hey, in the past, doing it this way has been successful for people. Oh, well, then let's do it that way.
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay.
And then we don't have permanent tenants that are saying, if we get a letter from one of their legal departments, their attorneys saying, you have this great big massive wall in front of our store, you can't do that. So that's why, they have to set up a certain way. The kiosks can only be so high.
Nice.
We can't have anything visually blocking a permanent store or an inline store.
Very nice.
People get a little discouraged when they are in the middle of the mall and they see no traffic. Their wheels get to turning. Oh, I can't do this. No one's coming home. I'm supposed to work. It's costing me so much a day. They need to keep a positive attitude. Look for the future. Stick to that goal. It's not for us to decide to tell them if their product can succeed or not, because there has been some that came in here that were like, "Ooh, I don't know how this is going to go. I am unsure," and they knock it out of the park. There's others that are, "Oh, this would be fantastic," and it doesn't do very well at all. It may just pay the bills. So, but a great success story.
Nice. Very good.
Is we had a sterling silver kiosk in here. The gals had previous jewelry sales experience. The gals that owned it loved being in the kiosk in the center of the mall, because that's where the most impulsive buys are from. And their policy, anybody that worked there, they had to dress nicely, and they had to look at everybody that walked by with a smile.
Nice.
And when they smiled and made eye contact at people that walked by, that would draw them to their kiosk because they were interested. Oh, you made eye contact with me. What are you selling? What do you have? Okay, you just brought the customer to you, and now you can work your magic. Show them what you have. Stay professional. Keep the negativity that seems to go through the mall out of their kiosk and out of their business. Just so that because customers do see that, they recognize that. They recognize when you're not there, and they recognize when you have your face in a book. So they do recognize that, and that can hurt sales dramatically.
That attention to customer service is critical.
It is something that we, as a management team, also are very observant to.
Nice.
Because, and I have to be, because at the end of the year, if they want to renegotiate and say, hey, here's my sales, I need the rent cut in half, we'll say, well, I'm just not sure if this is going to work. No one is ever there. We've had so many complaints. You don't open on time. We do look at that.
That makes sense.
Well, so we have to see if this is going to be a partnership that we want to continue.
Any other kiosks that have started off little and blossomed?
Downey's Basics. Downey's Basics started out on a kiosk. Did absolutely fabulous. It's hard to keep that kiosk stocked.
Nice.
And it was on one of our smaller units that the mall owned. And then that ended up into their permanent leasing store.
That's great.
Yes.
Very good. Okay.
It's a story. But one thing, I have had people come to me and say, you know what, I have some money to invest. Give me some options. I want to do something, but I don't know what product. We subscribe to Specialty Retail Report, and I'm going to give you a few examples.
Oh, great. Okay.
And this gives them ideas of not all, but some temporary kiosk products.
Oh, nice.
And they also have articles in here of how to be successful. When you pick a product, you want the product to at least have about a 400% markup.
Okay.
That's where they feel that you have a lot of flexibility. That's why cell phone accessories has been so successful, because that is anywhere from a 400 to 600% markup.
Nice.
And so there's a lot of great tips in these magazines.
Oh, that's great. Okay.
That I'd be happy to share.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, I'll make them available to students.
As you're listening to this presentation, you might be thinking, why should I pay $1,200 in rent to be in a mall when I found a place near the main street with lower rent? Well, let's take a quick look. The average occupancy cost to sales ratio in a retail mall is about 12% of total sales. That's just an industry standard. It's based on average foot traffic and ticket sales. In a high traffic, high ticket sale average, you might be expecting projected sales of $10,000 per month. Well, that would equal, with 12%, rent of $1,200 per month. If you have a lower percentage, so you're paying lower rent, well, you can pretty much expect that you're going to be having lower foot traffic and smaller average ticket sales. So you might only expect projected sales of $5,000 or even less. So don't focus entirely on the amount of rent. You want to focus on how busy the location is and the average ticket sales, because you want people that are there to do business with you, and you're more likely to have a higher number of potential customers at a mall than on a non-busy side street.
Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. They're going to be so excited, and I'm excited